I can tell you one instance where one department, what happened is several years ago, we took and had to lay off, and somebody said we didn't lay them off, but that's the way I interpret it, from all the departments, 1 to 2 persons, because we couldn't afford them. And what it was, most of the time, it was a forced retirement, because a lot of people had 25 to 30 years in, so it was up to the department head to limit that person, so that was the person that was eliminated. And I was here at that time. So that made the department short. Time went on, so some of the people working in the office, they had to take and do their job plus part of the other person's job. So they was doing more work and thought they had less, so they thought they ought to take and move up from one pay scale to another pay scale, which would be raise them up maybe $3,000 or $4,000. So we had a RISE study on it, and the RISE study said, well, it's all right, that was the way things go, we just keep it the same. So I just approved it, but the Board of Commissioners moved it up to the higher pay scale anyway. So that's the reason all these studies are not also good, and it happened in some other departments. People were laid off, there's only several people working, so they had to do more work. So they moved them up to a higher pay scale, and they all said they never got a raise. But even though they got $3,000 to $4,000 more, there wasn't a raise. They went to another department. So when you say there wasn't no raises, I've been here when there's been several instances of raises. I consider raises. You might consider them, move them up the pay scale. I maybe went too fast. I understand it, and the public probably doesn't understand it. So I don't know if any of your commissioners got any details on that, or don't quite understand what that went on.
I guess I'm just interested in what context are you sharing this information with us? Is it related to an agenda item? Or
it's the way, and the way I see it, now the county gets $1 more, they want to spend $3. And also, back then, they always said, well, we balanced the budget. Well, we took like $1.5 million out of the delinquent tax fund. That's how we balanced the budget. And we've also been doing that last year, money out of the balance the budget. So. Yeah, I'm sorry, not 500,000, but at least we're taking money out of money that we didn't get. So I just think that we just got to be more conservative and fix more things.
I guess I can speak to my 2 years that I've been here. In my 2 years, we've given no raises, no step increases. We have given out the payout, the bonus one time, $500 or $150 for part-time employees. So in my 2 years, there's been nothing. I understand what you're saying, though, it makes sense. And I'm sure that's probably happened over the course of the time you've been here, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I'm on my 7th year here, so as the commissioner, I was here before that, so I know what goes on. So I just like to be more conservative, try to fix our windows, parking lots, heating, and air conditioners, and roofs. I've been up in this building when they had fans sitting all over the floor when it rained, and they're still not in good shape. They're still not in good shape. So, and they're only bothered when it rains, so you don't have to worry about it.
Appreciate it, Commissioner Holtzhausen.
I just have one question for Commissioner Holtzhausen, and that it doesn't sound like you're necessarily saying no to spending more money. You just don't want to spend it on individuals?
Well, not necessarily, but I just think we gotta be more cautious, so.
I'm just asking a question, I'm not.
And I'm not saying that people didn't do the work and they shouldn't be raised and all that, it's just that those issues come up and we just gotta, address them. So.
I think we've been good as a board in the last 2 years. If Commissioner Parks can.
I agree, to some extent, with Commissioner Holtzhausen, but, the long-term objective is for everybody, the county, the employees, and the buildings, is for everything to just slowly improve and get a little better. We can't, the 2008, when we had the serious budget crunch, there were some serious problems. Things have gotten a little better. We're fixing the roof here. We try to help out an employee there. We're just trying to move everything forward, and people that work here for years, everybody likes to see a little bit of improvement. And, it's just the American way.
And we've got to be competitive. We have some good employees that luckily we've been able to keep. But, other counties are almost by about probably 20,000 extra a year, 20,000. So we've had some loyalty from a lot of our employees, but raises are never a popular thing, but we have a rate study coming, and I think that, that's not something, the rate study's gonna come back and we're just gonna jump, 3 paid raise and everything's gonna go, it's gonna be phased in, it's gonna be a phased in approach. But I certainly appreciate your comments, Commissioner Olshausen, and shed some light on some stuff that maybe the commissioners and myself aren't aware of. If anyone else has any more communications from the board at this time? Now, we'll move to first address to the public. To address the board, I have one, Matthew Shepard.
Like I said, I concur with Commissioner Olshausen on raises and what have you. This is a public entity, not a private entity. You're not making extra capital on the people that you're supposed to be representing. And when you arbitrarily give raises or add hours to one person's salary, especially when it goes up to as much as $9,000, not also taking into effect all the money that's going to be spent on his health care or her health care. Another issue is the liberty that continues to be removed from people of this county, the state, and the nation. When somebody comes in and harasses individuals repeatedly for stuff that they've got outside their barns or outside their house, they don't have the right to go on their property. If they're operating as a private entity, they do not have the right to come on your property and impose fines just because it's outside of the ordinance. Please consider these thoughts. And the issue of the Veterans Committee, that should have been brought up this month as well. You let that keep going on, they're going to continue to rule over what happens to veterans that are in need. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else at this time have public comment? Card for us? Yeah. Appreciate it.
My name is Owen Strand. I live at 8153 Mason Road, Delaware Township. And I was back here in November and asked somebody to check into a situation with zoning concerning Dave Frank, P. Preston. And I never heard a damn word back from nobody. So anyway, I went to court, complied with what they wanted last Monday, and everything's cool. And then Dave Frank pulls out some more pictures, which is 783 feet from the end of my driveway to the back of my chicken coop. I live on a farm. I want you to note that. I live on a farm. 783 feet from the road. I got some tires back there for my dump truck that I only use on the farm. I have another truck there that's got some junk on it that I only use on the farm. I got some lawnmower parts that I keep back there because I do some lawnmower repair, whether it be somebody from the church or whoever. If I can put a jingle in my pocket and make somebody happy for $20, so be it. But this has been going on 8 years. 8 years I've been dealing with this jerk, and I've had it up to here. And if I can't get some response for somebody that's supposed to stick up for me, where are my rights? The 783 feet, you can't even see it from the road. let alone summertime, I got trees all in front of my property there. You can't even hardly see my house. It's a brand new house. I built it myself. 11 years old. Granted, I don't have the money to do this and that because I've been in bankruptcy. That's another whole story. I think I even showed some of you the paperwork on that last time I was here. First, some compassion. I'm not understanding. Because I got Sheriff Begal coming out next Thursday. Made an appointment with him. And I'm gonna fight back because I've had enough from Dave Trinka and Pete Preston. 8 years I've been dealing with this. Now, I'm not saying in the beginning there was a problem, but that's been taken care of. I complied with everything that they have asked every single time. By the end of the month, I don't have enough money to buy the deodorant, let alone a $600 ticket. Now, I'm asking somebody to get some balls and stand up to them. Thank you.
At the time, Sheldon was in here last time, Commissioner Howie said he would take care of it, obviously he was checked out. I guess I would ask, if Mr. Casarelli would please check into it and do some investigating and see what he can come up with and report back to us.
Yes, in fact, I spoke with the gentleman before the meeting, and I feel the same way, and indicated that the planning and zoning falls under my purview as a new commissioner.
And that's why I asked.
Yeah, and I do have, I've reached out to Pete recently, just this week, to try to schedule a meeting next week. I can sit down and go over a number of issues with Pete and his staff, and this would be one of them that I raised.
Quite frankly, I feel the same, enough is enough.
All right, I'll be looking for a phone call because I won't be here. You guys will know my face by the time I'm done with this. You guys have?
Same with my neighbor. I've lived there for 25 years. We built a house. I don't have, I can't see none of this from my house. I don't know what the big problem is. And I can show you like burgers I found that was 3 times worse and nobody's ever touched that. I'm not saying she go after him, but he cleaned up the mess that they complained about. That's good. I don't
That's
get
all
it.
we can do, we're not supposed to interact back and forth. If Mr. Commissioner Casarelli would do that as his liaison, maybe we can get an answer. I feel bad. Right? We promised you a couple months ago, whenever that was, that we would take care of it, and obviously,
Nobody
I
got back.
understand, that's not right.
As far as the neighbors, he's a good neighbor. I haven't a problem.
You can readdress at the end if you like. All right, is there any other public comment? Anything else? All right, we'll move to committee reports from commissioners. If we have anything, report, Commissioner Brush, Commissioner Olshausen, you want to know?
We got a meeting coming up in another week. I haven't had a meeting yet this week. So this month. Last month I was in December.
Midwest Michigan Authority Board, Commissioner Casarelli,
That we're scheduled to meet at, January 20th to 24th, 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Commissioner Martin, you want to touch on TA?
We're not on TA, things, it's the beginning of the year, things are slow, myself and Commissioner over there, we just spoke a little bit about what was going on, not really a whole lot to report on that. I'm also finishing out, pretty much everyone knows what's going on with emergency management right now, buildings ground, I did try to get a hold of Tim Hill this afternoon, he's never called me back. So I apologize, I do not, I hope to have some sort of a report, of what actually had to be done. Did we get the unit fixed? I don't know.
The unit has been fixed for now, and they're keeping an eye on it. They know it's gonna go, so they're gonna go ahead and order the replacement unit for on the jail. And we had trouble with, the power went out, earlier this week overnight when we had that windstorm, and it knocked out the programming for the HVAC units, boilers, and so forth. The circuit court was without heat all day yesterday. Thankfully, we were closed. District court didn't have heat the day before. That was fixed. And they've got some pumps that are out on the boilers for circuit court, and that was one of the problems. After the power went out, it must have blown them. And Tim is on a scheduled day off today. He had to pick his daughter up north.
I'm sorry. I did try several times, but I forgot he didn't have a scheduled day off. I apologize, I didn't want to report to you guys. Thank you for having my report. I didn't have it. So that is fixed. We are getting 3 bids on that other executive, but I'm sure it's Lennox again, but we'll have 3 bids. And we're gonna approve it to be done, so I will report back on what's been done, exactly what it costs, by next month. There's nothing going on with Parks and Recreation. I've been told that we're gonna schedule a special meeting, because we're working on trying to get a DNR grant, and there's some, language that has to be straightened out. So possibly, later this month or next month, because the Parks and Recreation only needs 7 months of the year. So, but I think there's gonna be a special meeting, and they're trying to just secure a DNR grant, just the money to, do some more repairs and stuff.
Thank you.
Is that, former life with the DNR and broadband grants, Commissioner Barnes, so if there's interest or I can assist in reviewing a grant application or participating in the review on that.
We appreciate that.
Move to public health, Commissioner Marks.
Larry can probably talk better to this. The 2 things that stood out with me, I went to my first meeting with them, very informative. Packet of information about quarter of an inch thick. So I don't think you want to hear about all of that. The 2 main things that were brought up in regards to money were the upgrading of 2 of their computer systems, environmental health, which is 17 years old, and the medical records is 8 years old. This is a pretty healthy expenditure of estimated around $150,000 that they're gonna need to spend on these, but they're not just gonna willy-nilly pick a system. They will be getting multiple bids after they do a county by county research as to what's worked well for other counties. But anybody who's aware of computers and programs, and a 17-year-old and an 8-year-old program is pretty ancient in modern technology. So it's something that's necessary. Unfortunately, it does cost a lot of money.
I'd like to add, the only thing I'll say is that it's not general fund money being used.
Correct.
All right, Council on Aging, BAA,
Yeah, we, in December, we had our annual, little, Christmas, luncheon. You might say at the Davidson Golf Course, and then we had an audit, on the head of the audit, chairman of the audit committee, and, we had the auditors there, and, everything looked good for the audit, so. We had a nice luncheon, so.
They have not yet, I just received a notification of that meeting, and I think that's upcoming.
Governing board yet, the GST.
I don't know anything about that yet. I have to get with it. That's a new board for me.
Planning commission hasn't met yet either, right?
No, the 25th.
And SCDP hasn't met yet either, so I guess that, concludes the committee reports, unless someone else has anything else to add at this time. Move the committee of the whole, Mr. Brown,
I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
motion, make that motion. Support that motion. Motion and a second. Any discussion on the consent agenda?
So just point of clarification, the consent agenda were things that were agreed to at the committee of the whole and expedite their acceptance of passage.
Yeah, usually it's just, start this. That's where the roll call vote. Just a time frame, this
Streamline things.
Any other discussion? Take a roll call vote.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Root?
Yes.
Commissioner Buck?
Yes.
Yes, Mrs. Jackson? Commissioner Cascarelli? Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Approved. Do you have anything else?
I know.
One more, sir.
Sure. Minutes, yeah. Further to minutes.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of January 11th, 2017, committee of the whole meeting.
Motion, second, Mr. Marks. Everybody looked them over, any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same. Motion carries. Anything further?
I don't think so.
We'll move to economic and social development, Commissioner Cascarelli.
Thank you. I would move to approve the minutes of January 9th, 2017, economic and physical development committee meeting.
Second that.
Motion and a second by Commissioner Myers, do we have any discussion on the minutes? Economic and social development meeting.
Oh, you said that it was kind of consent and it didn't talk about money, you know, trade with money. You getting raises, and you're getting money, and you're getting raises.
It was adopting the resolution. No, we can pull it out, yeah. Now, we have a motion on the table, all those in favor of the minutes? Say aye. Aye. All opposed, same.
Opposed.
Motion carries. Anything further, Commissioner Cascarelli? Move to Finance and Administration, Commissioner Marks.
Yeah, I make a motion to add the agenda. Item E, to consider authorizing the county treasurer to fill a vacancy for chief deputy treasurer at pay grade 6 on the last salary schedule for the range of $32,085 to $39,253, and authorize the board chair to sign all required documents.
Second that.
We have a motion to add this agenda item E to the Finance Board. Requires a 2/3 vote to be on the agenda. Do a roll call vote.
Commissioner Brock?
Yes.
Commissioner Cascarelli?
Yes.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Root?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Masters is absent.
That'll be added to agenda item E on Finance Administration Report.
Right, I move to approve the change from 34 hours per week to 40 hours per week for emergency management coordinator Richard Warner, with an increase in line item 101-426-405, $49,500 to $58,240. And direct that a description of daily duties over the course of the week be provided by emergency management coordinator Richard Warner to the Board of Commissioners.
Motion, second. Motion and a second, we have any discussion on the motion, Commissioner Olshausen?
I think that, it's hard to raise it up that much, I think the county clerk, Tom Dwyer and all that, only make $50,000, and you're gonna raise them up $9,000 more than that. I think that's not called for. The clerk too, they only make $50,000. And they're full-time, and you have to have them too.
Any other-
otherwise it's making 49.5, so it's not supposed to be covered.
I think just to clarify, so part of the increase is covered by the federal FEMA grant, I think about 37 cents on the dollar of the increase. Also, as I understand this position, it's a 24/7, he is on call, 24/7, so more than we might expect, standard county employee who works an 8 to 5 schedule. Is that an accurate assessment?
That's also correct.
Okay, and if I may, wasn't this job formerly a 40-hour a week job before there were some budget reductions and they were forced to cut back to 34 hours? So we would just be reverting to what the job used to be?
They used to be even less hours than that. And also, essentially, we got our county chairman, vice chairman, and that to take away those offices. And even then, even if there's emergency, the state police, you don't direct them, you don't direct the road commissioner how to do it, you don't direct the sheriff's department how to run their department, they all run them themselves. So, not that we don't need them, but yet they do their own work and direct their own jobs. So you don't have authority over them, you're just there to help out.
Anything else?
Yeah, just a couple points, and I was aware that there was gonna be a discussion about this, and I originally was in favor, certainly, of him moving to a 40-hour job. I think we get tied up in semantics here a little bit, because it's not a raise. He's been paid the same hourly rate at 34 hours, he'll be paid the same hourly rate at 40 hours. It's not a raise, it's an increase in hours, and actually all it's doing is paying this gentleman for the work that he's already doing. I can pretty much guarantee you he puts in more than 34 hours a week now. All we're doing is paying this guy for work he's doing and work that's expected. My understanding in a conversation that he had prior to this new commission was that, yes, you're paid 34 hours, we expect 40 hours and more out of you. That was a direct conversation he had with the previous commissioner. I'm sorry, you try that with anybody else, and I think you're gonna get an awful lot of blowback. But also, by moving him to a 40-hour position, they're actually paying him for 40 hours, for work that he's doing in excess of that. It also provides us with the opportunity to pick up another full-time staff at no cost to the county. I, for one, am pretty concerned about the health, welfare, and safety of our community, and this gentleman is certainly trained to do this. There's never been an objection about his hourly rate up to this point. His hourly rate is not changing, he is not getting a raise, he's simply getting paid now for what he's already doing.
Anything else? Any other comments? All right, we have none, we'll move for roll call vote.
Commissioner Marks?
No.
Commissioner Olshausen?
No.
Commissioner Root?
No.
Commissioner Darts?
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster is absent. Commissioner Cascarelli?
Yes.
Commissioner Brock?
Yes. Moving on to the other,
The motion failed.
yeah. Commissioner Marks?
I move to approve employee disbursement to Mid-State Health Network in the amount of $2,161 from Shiawassee County in accordance with PA 2 of 1986 Global Health Protection Facility or WIPA tax funds, and authorize the board chair to execute all necessary documents.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Support.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Now, we will roll call vote.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Root?
Yes.
Commissioner Darts?
Yes.
Commissioner Cascarelli?
Yes.
Commissioner Brock?
Yes.
Ms. Sturts is absent.
I make a motion to approve Tim Hill Building and Ground Superintendent to replace a failing HVAC unit
jail at price not to exceed $10,000.
Support.
Motion, second. Any discussion on that? Mr. Bartz? Focus it on that. If anyone has anything else, if not, we'll do a roll call vote on that.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Root?
Yes.
Commissioner Bartz?
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster is absent. Commissioner Cascarelli?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes. Approved. I move to approve the minutes of January 2017 Finance and Administration Committee meeting. Motion and a second. Second. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. Motion carries. Mr. Chairman, we'll move on to your other.
I move to consider authorizing the county treasurer to fill vacancy for chief deputy treasurer at pay grade 6 on the rise salary schedule with a range of $32,085 to $39,253, and authorize the board chair to sign all required documents.
Motion and a second. Support. Second. Discussion. This is something that came in today.
Yeah.
The treasurer, right?
I received the notice this morning when the guy was work probably about 8:15, 8:30 from the person. So, been a long time employee with the county. Started back in May of '98 in the front part of the office, waiting on taxpayers paying taxes and stuff like that. And then when my other chief deputy treasurer decided to retire, probably in the ballpark of a number of years, probably about 13, 14 years ago, this person became my chief deputy treasurer again. We've had an opportunity to move on with some increase in pay from what the chief deputy treasurer's job is. And her last day at work will be January 27th, and then she's got some personal leave days and stuff to take, so February 3rd, I think is the final date. So I appreciate your effort in getting on the agenda for today. So wasn't planning this morning when I got up and started off, but that's the way the day went. So.
That was very unexpected.
Yes.
Good luck with your new person.
Thank you. Thank you. Start the wheels turning up here. How it's gonna work, so I appreciate your effort. Thank you.
Any other discussion from anyone else? Not? Roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Root?
Yes.
Commissioner Bartz?
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster is absent. Commissioner Cascarelli?
Yes.
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Chair Calendar. Thank you, Commissioner Marks. We'll look to public safety and courts, Commissioner Brown.
I would like to make a motion to approve the sheriff's office to hire 3 full-time correction officers to fill vacancies at the POLC Corrections Officer. Corrections Officer range of $38,014 to $42,717.
Motion or a second? Motion and second. Any discussion on this? Just refilling some of the vacancies for the newly elected sheriff and the sheriff.
It's not additional,
Not additional.
personnel, just filling vacancies, and actually saving money. By the way, that process took place with that, or people moving up and filling vacancies with a lesser amount of money. So actually, the county saves money by filling these positions.
This is bringing out the last of our deputies from the layoffs that were put into the jail. This is actually bringing the last of them out. So it's actually saving them in the jail, paying less of salary to someone else. Anything else? Roll call vote on that?
Commissioner Brown?
Yes.
Commissioner Cascarelli?
Yes.
Commissioner McMaster is absent. Commissioner Bartz?
Yes.
Commissioner Root?
Yes.
Commissioner Olshausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Marks?
Yes.
I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the January 10th, 2017 Public Safety and Courts Committee meeting.
Motion and a second, any discussion on the minutes? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. Motion carries. Set reports, we'll move to Health and Human Services, Commissioner Marks.
I move to approve the minutes of January 10th, 2017 Health and Human Services Committee.
Motion to have a second. Any discrepancies found? None, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same. Motion carries. Reports. All right. I don't have a lot to add this month. Just want to say, we got through our first week, new commissioners. We had a county shutdown. That's not something we usually have, so experienced that. We also coordinate the schedule to get this meeting off today. Everybody's taken on some new roles. Doing a little bit more than expected, so I want to thank everybody for their efforts and putting it in, and, our staff, Patty and Kaylee, they're working with the clerk to help her out with her transition as well, so we're all just working together, and I think it's been a pretty successful first 2 weeks so far, so we'll see how it goes next month. I'm sure there'll be a ton more things next month to do, but I just want to thank everyone for their efforts. January 18th, again, is going to be our time to block out the day. All the commissioners are going to go around with the itinerary for all the department heads to meet with them. I don't believe we have anything else at this time. We'll move to other agenda items. If any other commissioners have anything at this time.
I'd actually like to return to the agenda item we covered today. Okay?
Yeah,
Report section. So, under the county of finance, item A, and the increase for Mr. Warner. So, obviously the motion failed. It was a close vote. We don't know how it would have gone if Mr. McMaster would have been here. So is it just no? Is it no for now? Is there anything we can offer? I mean, I feel pretty strongly about the position here.
I think it's a no for now, but I think we can definitely revisit it. It's something we could probably look at, but it's going to ultimately be up to the county finance and administration to bring this back up. You're a member of that committee, and the chairman can bring this back to the agenda, or 2 members of the committee can file that request on the agenda. So it's not just covered, just the finance chairman. So definitely something that could be revisited. I think the reasoning for my vote is I just want a little bit more information. I'm not comfortable right now making that. One, I don't want the precedent of setting it out there, and then next month we have several other departments that feel like we're just giving out increases. Commissioner Brown touched on that. It isn't an hourly increase. It's still going to be money in the agenda that we have to find to put in there. I know there's been some money that's also been provided by emergency management, so that, to make up some of the total. But I just don't want to rush any decision like this. So that's the reason my vote changed today. I can't speak for the other commissioners, how they felt, but definitely something maybe at the end of the first quarter, we get a feel of where we're at, what we're doing. We can look at, but right now I don't feel comfortable with it. So
I appreciate that, Mr. Chairman. I just was curious what changed in 48 hours. I mean, the fact we're doing this as a part-time position, given the scope and responsibility, I just think it says the wrong signal. I mean, it's a county-wide position, providing very valuable service. The fact we can't even recognize it as a full-time position is most disheartening. And over the course of 48 hours, it was a 6-to-1 vote, and now the motion failed. So I'm just struggling a little bit. It would have been nice to hear some of this and have this conversation either at the committee level or the committee as a whole, rather than coming to a full commission meeting now and then seeing it fail. So I'll kind of say it.
Yeah, a year ago, he was on less hours than that. And we got by, so.
I was going on less hours.
Well, we get by until there's an emergency. We haven't had a paramedic.
Well, when we have emergency, that's the reason we have the fire department, we have the road commission, they do the work. They're the authority, he doesn't have authority over it. You don't understand that? He doesn't have authority over it.
It's not the authority, it's the coordination aspect of what he does. It's more of.
But he doesn't tell me what tree to go to and what road to pay and where to go. So they do the work where they want to go.
Anything else,
I don't mixing up committees here, or duty, job duties, but, I think, I'm still feeling what we discussed, but I do understand, and I know conversation has taken place, that, approximately 9 years now, people have gone without raises. This is looked at as a raise. I still stand by the fact that it's not a raise. It's just simply paying the gentleman for the work that he's already doing. But I do understand that, and I think because of this vote and because of the fact that he's not going to be moved now, we seriously do need to take a look. As Commissioner Bart stated, we are doing better. This county is doing better. I do recall conversations and articles in the paper that there was a miraculous $800,000 discovered last year. I don't know where that money came from, but obviously there's some money out there. And I know there's a lot of people that have been working for a long time here with no raises, not even a cost of living raise. 0 raises for 9 years. Despite what Commissioner Holzhausen has said, because somebody's moved up in hours or changed their job classification, that isn't necessarily a raise, it means they're doing more work for the money that they're being paid. But there's an awful lot of people that haven't changed classifications, that have not had a raise of any kind for 9 years. I challenge an awful lot of people, maybe outside the county, that have worked that long without any kind of raise whatsoever. I think we should seriously look at what's going on, what the pay rates are for people, and if there's room in the budget to give people some kind of token raise even. I think people work very hard for the money. You can cut and cut and cut and cut. And I will always say, you get what you pay for. Mr. Warren is paid for 34 hours. If I were him, I wouldn't work 1 minute over 34 hours. I would not do it. But yet, I know this man, and I know he will. I think it's wrong. I just think it's wrong. I think people should be paid for what they do. And if they deserve more, then they should get more. And by George, we're gonna find it. We can find it. It's there. If $800,000 can be located somehow miraculously out of the budget last year, the money's there. And I think people are getting a little tired of working for less than what they deserve.
There's another $800,000 surplus this year. We need to take a look at going taxes. Because last time, there were a lot of people in my neighborhood that did an increase in pay 9 years ago. So that's what my stance is on it. I still represent the taxpayer.
I just hope that the next time the county shuts down at 5 o'clock in the morning, somebody, is around to answer the phone besides me and Mr. Warren. Because nobody was this time.
It's not that I don't believe in raises. I think all the county employees should get raises, but we can't give one person that much more at one time. And that's why we got people down the steps that do it. We got the chairman, the vice chairman, and on down the road. So,
we got salaries, we're forgetting we have a salary study coming.
yeah.
I mean, we were cautious on per diems, we were cautious on commissioner benefits, because we wanted to look at everything from a study coming, a rate study. Why do we want to put the cart before the horse? If we raise this, I mean, how foolish do we look if we raise this and it comes back, we're way over? How's that gonna look in this one department compared to, say, department we're higher in, who we feel that we have more adjustments, we can make more adjustments in an area we're higher in? I just think we need to be cautious on what we're doing. This isn't a slight to a department or an individual employee. This is strictly a budget, a finance perspective, and let's just wait and look. I mean, because this is just something, it's a domino effect, and everyone can sit and say it's not, and oh, it's one thing, it's not that much money. The money is not always the principle, it's gonna cause a domino effect. I took this job 2 years ago, I came in here, we put sheriff's deputies back on the road from sheriff that we had eliminated. The previous board had completely eliminated that position. We started putting road deputies back out on the road, getting the court security hired back in. And we had the next month, we had the prosecutor's office, we had the clerk's office, and we added more positions for more departments because it was a handout. We looked at it as if they're getting it, then we want it. And that's how it's looked and that's how it's viewed. And for morale and for employees amongst the county, I think we need to all do our share in taking our cuts. We all need to do our fair share of waiting this salary study out. Because if we're just gonna continue to raise salary, if we wanna just put people up more hours, then what's the point of the $50,000 we spent on a salary study for the entire county? Excuse me. But that's just my thoughts on it. You know, votes change overnight. People take things into perspective. You know, I looked at this and I fought for it. I didn't know that I wanted to vote yes for it when it was in finance. I didn't know that I wanted to vote yes for it in committee of the whole. I had concerns about it. That's why I worked with the sheriff to see if the department can be moved back under the sheriff's office for more accountability, for reports, for daily understanding of what goes on in this department. Because I don't think there's a commissioner sitting at this table. Commissioner Barnes may have a little bit ahead of us on some of that, but we know what goes on in emergency management, and we know what happens 40 hours a week. I mean, I'm sorry, you know, that's heartless that we don't, but when we don't know, I don't feel comfortable making a decision on something I don't know about. So my vote changed. Mr. Holzhausen.
I think you missed about yourself a little bit. We said we laid out the deputies that we just give the money to the sheriff and that's up to the
Yeah,
sheriff.
we just laid them off. It's the budgetary.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. That's what they all do every
It's
month.
the sheriff that makes
And,
the decision.
and when we had that last ice storm, I was chairman and went to the meetings of the emergency manager
Well,
and
I
things
think we-
went around.
I
If
think
somebody
we-
wasn't there, somebody sick a week, you know, somebody else takes over.
I appreciate it. All right, I appreciate everyone's discussion on this. Obviously, the board is split, with the commissioner absent. You know, it's always something we can look at next month if that'll make the board feel more comfortable. To have a full board here to make a decision. I don't know, leave that up to the finance committee to determine. And with that, move to the opportunity for the public to address the board a second time.
Tom Mankey, 2910 West M21, Wausau Township. I'm trying to wrap my head around this situation, the emergency management coordinator position. We're talking about a person who is against the law to require anyone to work more than their existing hours. That's against the law. I don't think one person here would voluntarily do that. Well, that's what this person has been expected to do. So all it is fixing a screw up of another board that made a employee work less hours or work for less money. So I took a look at this amount. We're talking about somewhere around $8,740. But 37% of that is paid by federal, correct? So we're not talking over $5,000. So you're telling an employee, we still expect 40 hours out of you, but we're not going to give you $5,000 more a year. Now, when you talk about setting up domino effects or setting up whatever, what you just did was slap the employees of this county in the face by going and saying, you know what, that's a raise. It's not a raise. Not one of you would put in 6 hours a week extra for your job and not be paid. But you expect this gentleman to.
Let's say 34 hours.
Working still 40 hours.
We're not expecting.
Okay? Thank you.
Anything else from the public?
Gene Roos from Lindbergh Township. I got a bucket truck from Snow Power. 4 in the morning, I can't get out the driveway. I make a phone call. The road commission's there before I can walk a half mile with the tractor to pull my truck out to get your lights on. Okay? Because I know Mr. Warner and I had his number. That's the kind of stuff that I can't call the fire department or whatever to do. Mr. Zunzik's plowing that road out before I can walk out and get a tractor. Okay, number two, industry standard usually pays 1 hour of pay a day for on-call. I work for the power company, considerably more than that. 2 hours pay a day for an off-duty day, like a Saturday, Sunday, or holiday. Okay, if you pay them $50,000, like the number you were talking about, that leaves $8,240 left. Okay, divide that by 28, because $20 per hour would make $58,240. Works out to 294 days. So you're paying them on call pay if that other 8,000 was bothering you. And you still got 75 days a year that he's not getting paid to be on call. When I'm on call, I can't drink. I can't get too far from the house because I have to be available. When they call, I'm going, the storms this week, I've already got probably 60 hours in this week already. That's my job, and I'm not bitching because I volunteered for that. But to be on call is a commitment. You got to drop. You're going to the fair, your family's phone is up. I got to go. There's oil leak. Thanksgiving dinner, there's oil leak like we had out there. This is stuff. Come on, guys. You get paid for being on call after hours. I'm not telling you paying for the hours that he's working. I'm just to be available. That's just common sense.
Anything else from the public? I just want to make a quick comment. I forgot to share with you that I do have one other unlicensed car on my property. But that's because I had a mechanic business for quite a few years. The guy's never paid me on it. Legally, I own it now, but he keeps saying he's gonna pay me, so there it sets. So if I have to file for a title to get rid of it, I'm more than happy to do that. So I just want you to know, because I know Trinity took a picture of that. And, the other thing is, I don't think I mentioned this time, is that I am disabled legally. I only get 3, 4, 5 hours a day that I can work efficiently. Thank you.
The other night, I sat in on the zoning board of appeals meeting, and there was an individual that put in a variance request for a fence that he put a 6-foot fence on the front of his property on M21. Went through the whole process, paid, I don't know, it's probably $200 to put in the application. He put the fence up months ago, or probably a year ago, I don't know. Anybody else knows the property on 21. But the zoning ordinance says he cannot have a fence over 4 foot tall. 4 foot tall is just a little bit higher than this here rail. That's not going to prevent a bunch of noise coming from the road or somebody looking at his property as they're going by to see, case the joint, anybody home? That 6-foot fence is going to prevent somebody from seeing what he's got back there. And he was outright denied another liberty.
Anything else this time?
I'd like to speak out for the charge meeting. I heard from Mr. Holzhausen, Mr. Marks, I'd like to know.
No, this isn't a communication.
Okay, that's fine. It's 168 hours in a week. I work 34 of that. Am I working from 8 to 4:30, 5:30, Monday through Friday, and the remainder, Mr. Look, you will be in charge? If you want 34 hours, I'll give you 34 hours. But I don't think it's right that I have to give you any more than that. So you tell me, are you taking over when I'm not in the office?
Oh, I mean, that's the duty of the chair, I would say yes. I just don't have this back and forth where you put me on the spot in front of.
I just wanna know because.
PowerPoint me in front of people.
No.
You know, and I'm not gonna, no, I will. I'll step up and I'll handle that. I'll handle that role if you need me. If you don't wanna work 24 hours, fine. We don't expect you to, we want you to work 34 hours. I'll handle it if I need to. Anyone else have anything else this time?
You got my number, don't you?
Yeah. All right, we'll call this meeting adjourned.